Are Harley Davidson motorcycles now for the middle classes alone? Let's get into it. Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. I hope you're all well. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications bell for all future videos. So, this is going to be a quick video, really. We all know that Harley Davidson have just released their products for 2024. On January 24th, we saw that they brought out the 2024 CVOs, which is pretty much the same, just new paint jobs, really. They've probably installed the fix for the recall on the Street Glide CVOs as well. They've brought out the CVO Road Glide ST. They've done away with all the ST Tourers. They brought out the new Street Glide and the Road Glide with a 117 engine. But these are all expensive motorcycles, right? Many people were saying, oh, well, Harley Davidson, they're making these motorcycles cheaper. Well, in my last video, I kind of tried to make the comparisons between 2023 prices and 2024 prices, and only a couple of instances where there's been a reduction in price. Most prices have gone up £300 or £500, right? And it's kind of in line with inflation. So I'm not really bad-mouthing Harley Davidson. I just kind of think, well, it's kind of expected, right? This is where we're at. With the Tourers, with the whole Tourer lineup, what they said, apart from the CVO Road Glide ST, which is a new motorcycle, and I think that's, coming in at a £38,000 or whatever it is, we are talking about a price increase. And a price increase, actually, that is kind of in line with what the other motorcycles in their lineup have had an increase as well. Similar kind of thing. Let me just look at the prices here. So, for the CVOs, for the 2023 CVO Street Glide, it was £38,295. This is UK prices. I'm not talking about American prices or European prices or global prices, just UK prices. For 2024, it's gone up to £38,595. So, a £300 increase. That's not a lot, really, and this is kind of what I would expect, right? For a top spec CVO, however, in terms of paint options, for 2023, it'd be £44,695. However, because they've reduced the amount of options, really, the top spec for a 2024 is £44,595. So it's actually reduced in price. So it really depends. If you're a base model CVO, which is a bit strange, right? You've got an increase in price, but top spec option, or the option that will cost you the most money, actually 2024 is a cheaper option. Only by 100, but it's a cheaper option. Okay, let's look at the CVO Road Glide. Well, CVO Road Glide for 2023, base as it were, was £38,795, and for 2024, £38,995. So it's gone up £200. The top spec for 2023 was £45,195, and for the top spec for 2024, wait for it, is £44,995. So it's actually come down, what's that, £200 again. So therefore, it's reduced in price for the top spec option. So that's the CVOs. Now, I kind of wonder, well, why do they bring out a CVO change for 2024 in terms of colour? Why didn't they just do something different for 2025? Because they've just brought out the CVOs. They could have just said, okay, colour option changes, but not made such a big deal about it. This is my point, really, not made such a big deal about it. But there we go. Here we're looking at the Street Glide Special from 2023 versus the Street Glide for 2024. And I'm going to do the same for the Road Glide Special and the Road Glide for 2024. So for 2023, Street Glide Special was £27,795. 2024, the base level for the Street Glide with a 117 engine is £26,795. So it's actually gone down, wait for it, £1,000, right? That's £1,000 it's gone down. Okay, the top spec for a 2023 Street Glide Special with a 114 engine, but all blacked out casings and a black paint, right? So a black bike essentially would be £28,995. If you went for the additional colour option, right, it's actually £29,945. But let's just go black for black bike, okay? The top spec for the 2024 bike is £29,095. So actually, between the top spec in black versus the top spec of 2023 in black, we're talking an extra £100. So it's actually gone up in price. And this is the same pretty much for the Road Glide special as well. 2023 was 27,795 and 24 is 27,295. So it's gone down £500. The top spec on the 2023 was 28,995 and the top spec for the 2024 is £29,595. So that's actually gone up in price by, wait for it, that's £600. So it's gone up £600. So again, there is an increase in price here, but it really depends on what spec you're going in at and, you know, what kind of level of trim and all that kind of stuff. So some prices have gone up, some prices have gone down. But look at the figures which I'm giving you. Yes, we know they're really expensive bikes, right? And maybe you've lived in a cave to be oblivious to this, but everybody knows they're expensive bikes, and maybe, you know, some would argue too expensive for what they are. However, let's just park that because we don't need to talk about how expensive they are. But the point here is that Harley Davidson have made their whole launch, their whole product launch. And obviously we got the CVO Pan America as well, which is an extra £5,000 and change above the Pan America special, right? Here in the UK, this is. Their whole launch is about CVO, the CVO Pan America, the CVOs and the CVO Road Glide ST. You're talking about the top of the range. This is what they just want you to buy. They want you to buy. They've actually reduced the options of the Tourers. They got rid of the STs. No specials anymore. It's just your Street Glide or your Road Glide. Limited the options. Limited the paint options to a certain degree. They got different options. They got different paint, of course, but there's more limitations here. In the United States, you haven't even got base models. In Europe, we only had the specials last year as well. So you're kind of driving your customer base into being only able to buy a certain high-end bikes if you want a tourer. They're not going to be able to buy anything else. Now, I'm talking about brand new, of course. You can always go and buy used, right? And maybe that's the way it's going to go. People are going to say, right, you know, enough is enough. But in terms of the prices, you might expect me to say this is an outrage. They've gone up. They keep on going up. I'm not going to say that because, as I said in my previous video with the other prices of the Softails and the Knightsters, the kind of price increases, if any, have kind of been in line with what I would expect anyway. So I'm not surprised. I don't agree with it, of course. It's not my thing. I don't think that anybody should be spending that kind of money on a motorcycle. But hey, you know, people will spend how they want to spend, and there's no issue there at all. But what I am saying is that, hey, listen, you know, it is kind of in line with inflation, kind of in line with historically how Harley Davidson have done their pricing. However, what I find really interesting is that they've just pushed into the CVOs. And you think, well, hold on a minute. Who are most likely to be able to buy CVOs? Well, your middle classes and your upper classes. And not even upper classes, and not even talking classes here. We're talking about the most affluent people in society who can buy these bikes. And yes, some people will buy them on finance and other people will be buying them outright as well. In the United States, there are many 2023 CVOs which also had lots of problems, and the recall problems, then they're not shifting, they're not selling as well. So it kind of makes me wonder, well, why are you pushing just only CVOs, the high end of the market? It seems as if you're pushing towards, dare I say it, that they're acknowledging that they're going to sell less bikes. In fact, they probably want to sell less bikes, but at a higher profit margin. They're going to reduce the options, make their tooling a lot simpler, makes their delivery supply system chain, if you will, from the manufacturing or the assembly plants to the dealerships a lot simpler, so that we're just going to maximize profits. And we're not going to offer motorcycles that people will want to buy en masse. Now, I've got to say, this is only for this period right now. We don't know what they're going to bring out in the next couple of months, 2 or 3 months. There might be another 2 or 3 bikes, another icon bike, another enthusiast bike, another brand new motorcycle. I've got a feeling that they've held off on the brand new motorcycle that many people were thinking was going to come out. If you watch the video, the kind of teaser video, there's a bike in the background. I don't think that was the Pan America. I'm pretty sure that wasn't the Pan America. I could be wrong, maybe, because I haven't actually seen it in recently, so I'm kind of just going off memory here. But I just don't think that was a new bike. So where is it? Where is that bike? Where is the bike, the new bike? So if you're only going to be talking about your high-end bikes, so it seems to me that there's a strategy here to maximize profits, not sell as many bikes, or you don't care selling many bikes, but maybe there's some more bikes coming. Maybe there's more bikes coming that in the next couple of months, that's where we're going to see. And Harley Davidson do this. They drip feed this. They drip feed it. But I'm just wondering if that's the strategy now. The strategy is to say, look, we are just coming out loud and proud that we don't care about how much we charge for these motorcycles, because we're only aiming at those who can afford it anyway. That's what we want. We want those who can afford it. We don't want the ones who are going to be bitching and moaning and saying, I can't afford it. If you can't afford it, if you have to ask for the price, you can't afford it. It's that kind of deal. And that kind of manufacturer, it becomes a bespoke manufacturer. They become a design house, a boutique manufacturer. They're not a mass producer of motorcycles anymore. So it could be that this is what we're witnessing. We're witnessing a shift in Harley Davidson strategy to say, well, actually, these are the bikes that we're only really going to push now. We're not really pushing it. We offer these other bikes, but these are the ones we're going to highlight. Maybe it's a good plan. Maybe it is a good plan. Maybe it isn't. But certainly, I don't think that the prices have increased, overly dramatically. I think they're in line with kind of inflation, and yes, a kind of to expectation as well. Do I think the motorcycles are worth it? Do I think when they talk about the performance and the aerodynamics and all that kind of stuff, I kind of have a wry smile and think, well, maybe they need to look at their aerodynamics packages before they release these bikes in the first place, and certainly in terms of recalls, but also, what are we talking about here when we're talking about performance packages? We're talking about Harley Davidson, a big heavy bike, the CVO Road Glide ST. Yes, it's got performance parts on it and everything. This is the kind of bike that we talked about. There's a rumor, is it kind of a track bike or track bike inspired bike? But you're talking about, they've taken away the STs, which you could build on, a really expensive platform to build on, of course, as we all know. But if you're going to put in aftermarket parts, you're probably going to put in a lot better aftermarket parts that have gone onto that CVO ST Road Glide. So therefore, you're paying $38,000, or you could spend another $8,000-10,000 and get probably a much better bike. A much better bike, actually, with a 131 engine as well. Potentially, especially if you're buying a used one and you're going to put that extra money to it as well. So I would imagine that the performance bagger market, or the performance bagger riders out there, maybe they're chuckling a little bit. They're thinking, what the hell have Harley Davidson done here? It's not even a proper performance bagger. I don't know. I mean, let me know in the comments below. What do you think of that CVO Road Glide ST? Is it? Yes, it is a performance bagger. Of course it is. And it is more performance than they've had in the past. And the way it's tuned, yes, I get it. And it could be a great motorcycle. But I'm saying, is the value really there? And who's really going to pay for that? Or would people really just prefer to buy a base model and just up-spec it themselves and get a much better performance bagger out there? It just appears to me that they kind of tailored their market now, their audience, to a much richer demographic, let's say. And so for the mere mortals of this world, you're not going to be looking at those. You're probably looking at those bikes in about 4 or 5 years' time when they go into the second-hand market, and you'll see, what kind of prices they'll deliver then. But until that time, I don't think many people are going to be buying these bikes. But hey, listen, I'm always wrong in these things. It could be that they sell like hotcakes. However, there is some form here, because the 2023 bikes, the CVOs, well, apparently there's still lots that haven't been sold. Go figure. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, don't forget to like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notifications bell for all future videos. And I'll catch you again on another video coming very soon. Bye now.